Assalamu alaikum students, welcome to my class. Students, in my last class, I have discussed a little portion about the chapter about flowering plants. In this chapter, in my last class, I have discussed the different types of plants. We have learned that on the basis of size and a kind of stem, plants are classified into three categories. They are herbs, shrubs, and trees. Hope you all have understood well. And today I'm going to discuss some other parts of the plant. In our last class we have discussed about the parts of the plant as the root and the shoot. These are the two parts of the plant, and we know the shoot is the part of the plant that grows above the ground. So under the shoot, that is the part of the plant which grows above the ground, we get some other parts like the stems, leaves, and many more. We're going to discuss about all these. So let's start with the stem. You all know that different plants have got different types of stem. Some plants have got soft stem, some plants have got hard stems. Some plants, their stem is very weak that they are not able to stand erect. So what happens to such stems is that they often spread on the ground like the creepers and the climber plants. So we're going to discuss about the stem, which is hard and which gives full support to the plant. It helps the plant to stand upright. If you look at the stem, you can notice the picture, figure 9.7. You can notice is a plant which is able to stand erect because of the stem. And here you can see there are small nodes coming out from the stem, and the portion of the stem between any two nodes is called the internode. The smaller angle between the stalk of the limb and the stem is called the axil. If you look carefully, you will notice buds of axils. Branches grow out from these buds, and the buds are called axillary buds. And the topmost part of the plant, that is the apical bud, which means the apex, is the part of the plant which grows at the top. And sometimes such buds used to be called as the apex, or we can simply call it as apical buds. And some of the buds which are grown into flowers, these buds are known as floral buds. So this stem of the plant, it helps the plant in many ways. Let us see some of the functions of the stem. The first function of the stem is that it helps the plant to stand upright and supports the branches. In big trees, we see the main stem or trunk grows thick and strong. Such trunks have hard protective covering called barks. Secondly, the stem bears branches, leaves, flowers, and fruits in every direction. It lets the plant to spread out by growing flowers, fruits, branches, and leaves in all directions. It spreads these organs out in all directions so that they function in a very efficient way. For instance, it helps to spread out the branches and leaves so that the leaves get the maximum amount of sunlight. If the plant bears the leaves, branches, and the flowers and all only in one direction, it will be quite tough for the plant to get the sunlight from the sun. So the plant, it bears flowers, leaves, branches, and all the things in every direction so that the plant will be able to absorb sufficient sunlight from the sun. And the third function of the stem is that inside the stem we find two sets of pipelines, and these two sets of pipelines are known as the xylem vessel and the phloem vessel. So let us learn about xylem first. This xylem vessel is a set of pipelines which is found inside the stem. It helps in transporting water and minerals from the soil to all the other parts of the plant. And the other one, that is the phloem, it is the set of pipeline which is found inside the stem. which always helps in the transportation of food from the leaves to the other parts of the plant. Why the food is transported from the leaves? Because the leaves of the plant is known as the food factory of the plant. It helps in the manufacture of food. So the food, as it is manufactured in the leaves, then after manufacturing, what happens is that the flowing vessels or the set of pipelines that is found inside steam, it helps in carrying the food to all the other parts of the steam. So the one of the function of the steam is that it helps in the conduction and transportation of the materials from one part of the steam to the other part of the steam. Steams are again able to store some foods. Some of the steams we know, potato, ginger, onion and all, these are underground steams. So we take such steams as a food. Why? Because it has got food stored in it. Okay, potatoes, onions are the steams which are modified to store foods, and such foods are taken by us as a food. Okay, so this is also one of the function of the steams, that steams helps in storing food. Some of the steams, they give support. For example, you might have seen the pumpkin plant or the cucumber plant and all. Okay, the steams are very weak. So what happens? These steams have got some leaf tendrils or stem tendrils. These stem tendrils are somewhat like a thread, coiled thread. So this coiled thread, which we find in the stems of pumpkin plant or some cucumber plants and all. Okay, these stem tendrils that comes out of the stem of the plant, it helps in giving extra support to the plant. It helps the plant to grip on support. Okay, plants of the gourd family and garden plants like the passion flower climb with the help of these stem tendrils. Farmers, gardeners often provide support for such plants to climb up. And nextly, the other part of the plant that we find on the shoot is the leaf. Students, you all know that different plants have got different types of leaves. Okay, so we shall learn that the different types of leaves here. Leaves are one of the most important part of the plant. If the plants don't have leaf, then the plant won't be able to survive at all, because the leaves of the plant, it not only helps in undergoing respiration or exchange of gases with the atmosphere, it also helps in making food for the plant. So different plants have got different types of leaves having different colors and all. So in this topic we shall learn the different parts of a leaf. Okay, the leaves of different plants may look different, but most leaves have a few things in common. That is, they have flat green leaf base, or we can also call lamina. They also have a stalk or a petiole and a point of the attachment to the stem called as the leaf base. The petiole continues in the leaf as the midrib, that is the center, the middle portion of the leaf is called as a midrib. Thin linear structures called veins are found on the petiole and the midrib. This runs across the leaf in various directions on the leaf, and they help in providing support to the leaf and transport water, minerals and food to and from the leaf. So these veins, okay, and the midrib that we find on the leaves, which helps in giving support to the leaf, okay, it also helps in transporting water, minerals and food to and from the leaf. Okay, so if we learn about the veins that we find, then the leaves have got two different types of venation. Okay, some leaves have got parallel venation and some leaves have got reticulate venation. So what is parallel venation? What is parallel venation? We can see here, when the veins form a network across the leaf, as in pipal, chana rose, mustard, cabbage, silk, cotton, the leaf is said to be reticulate venation. But at the time when the veins run parallel to each other, as in grass, bamboo, banana, palms and sugarcane leaves, we find the leaf is said to be parallel. So at the time when we find the veins of the leaves running parallel to each other, especially in banana leaves, you might have seen banana leaves are very broad and very flat in size. Okay, you might have seen the veins are running parallel to each other. That means having parallel veins. So such a venation found in leaves is said to be known as parallel venation. But at times when we find that the veins form a network, the veins starts forming a network, okay, across the leaf, as in China rose, people, lychee, mango, okay, all such plants have got leaves of reticulate venation. Okay, so these are the two types of venation that we find in leaves. Now we shall learn about the leaves that are called a simple and compound. Okay, a leaf blade of some leaves like neem, golmohar, tamarind is divided into leaflets. Such leaves are known as compound leaves. Okay, you might have seen neem leaves. Many small leaves are coming out of it. If you look at your textbook figure, page number 89, figure B, that is the compound leaves. You can see the leaves of neem or tamarind. Many small leaflets are coming out from the leaf. So such a leaf can be called as a compound leaves. Okay, but at the time when we find a single leaf blade like those of banyan, people and so on, okay, such leaves can be called as simple leaves. When we find a single leaflet in a leaf, then it will be called as a simple leaf. And at the times when we find many leaf, a leaf is divided into many leaflets, then it will be called as a compound leaves. For example, the leaves of neem, golmohar, tamarind and all. Okay, but in case of simple leaves, we can say banyan, people and so on. Okay, now you have learned about the leaves, the different types of leaves and the different types of venation that is found in the leaves. Now let us learn some of the functions of the leaf. We know the leaf, its main function is to manufacture food. Okay, it is the leaf which helps to prepare food from water and carbon dioxide. Water and carbon dioxide undergoes a chemical reaction or a chemical change to produce glucose. At that process, chlorophyll that is present in the leaf, okay, which is considered as a green pigment present in the leaves, it helps in the reaction by trapping the light from the sunlight and helps in the process of photosynthesis. By undergoing this process, the plants are able to make food. You have learned about photosynthesis, the process by which green plants manufacture food in the presence of sunlight. What happens is that the water and the minerals that is found in the soil, okay, is absorbed by the roots of the plant, and the chlorophyll pigment present in the leaves, they help in trapping the light and the carbon dioxide gas from the atmosphere. Okay, in this way the reaction goes on between carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight, and the glucose which is required by the plant is manufactured. So this is the main function of the leaf. Some other functions of the leaf is that other than manufacturing food, they help in interchanging gases with the atmosphere. That means they take in carbon dioxide gas and give out oxygen. At night, what happens is that as there is no sunlight, the photosynthesis process it stops. So what the plants used to do is that at night, instead of exchanging, instead of taking carbon dioxide gas, they take in oxygen gas and give out carbon dioxide gas. But during daytime, they always take in carbon dioxide gas and give out oxygen gas. So the second function of the leaves is that is to interchange gases with the atmosphere. And the third function we can say is that throwing out of water vapor. That means the excess water which is found in the plant body is thrown out through the tiny pores present in the leaves of the plant known as stomata. Some of the leaves are again modified to perform some other functions which you have learned in your previous chapters or in your previous classes, like the cacti. You all know cacti is a plant which has got leaves modified into spines. And what is the importance of the spines present in the cacti plant which is modified into leaves? We know cactus plant do not have leaves at all. Instead of the leaves, they have got spines. And what is the importance of having spines on the cactus plant? Its only importance is that it helps the plant to reduce the loss of water, and it also helps the plant to get defended from the other animals. Other animals looking at the spines, they hardly go nearby it and try to harm the plant. Okay, they get defended because of the presence of spine, and they also prevent the loss of water. The scales of ginger are modified to protect buds. You might have seen ginger, which is a stem found under the ground. Okay, it has got scales. Okay, these scales are modified to protect buds, and there are some still other modifications on the leaves. Some leaves provide support, some leaves defend. Let us see the pea plant, the masoor, that is known as the pulses, lentil, we can say, glory, lily. All these plants, we find the leaves are modified into stem tendrils. You might have seen the pea plant. From the pea plant, the leaves of the pea plant, it used to produce a leaf tendril. Okay, and this leaf tendril that comes out from the leaf of the pea plant, it helps in giving extra support to the plants so that the plant will be able to get support to stand erect or stand upright. Such stem tendrils, leaf tendrils, they coil themselves around a support and help the plant to climb. Okay, the leaf tendrils that comes out of the leaves of the plant or the stems of the plant, it helps the plant to coil around by getting a support and lets the plant to climb up. Some leaves, they defend themselves from their enemies. As I have said regarding the cactus plant, as it has got spines, they do not only prevent the loss of water but also discourage animals from eating the plant. Many of the animals, they don't go nearby the cactus plant. Why? Because of the presence of the spines. Okay, animals get discouraged of getting cactus plant as a food or taking cactus plant as a food because of the presence of spines. Okay, dead palm, dagger plant, and prickly poppy are some of the plants which leaves are modified into spines for defense. Okay, not only the cactus plant, you can see the dead palm, dagger plant. Okay, all these plants do have some spines, and because of the presence of spines, what happens? They get defense. They are not harmed by any animals. Lastly, we have got the main part of the plant, that is the flower. Okay, you all know that flowers of different plants are different. Some are red, some are blue, some are orange, some are white. So there are different colorful flowers beared by different plants. Some flowers like tuberose, which is known as Rajnigandha, and crepe jasmine, which is known as Chandni and white. Okay, while others like China rose and sunflower are brightly colored, roses are fragrant, while oleanders are not. Oleanders do not have any fragrance. The shapes, sizes, and colors of flowers, they greatly vary, but all the flowers have got some features in common. Okay, all the flowers have got some features in common. Even though different flowers, different plants bear different varieties of flowers having different colors, but all the flowers have got some features in common. We are going to learn the common features that we find in all the flowers that are beared by different plants. If you look at the picture, figure 9.18, you can see different parts of the flower grown by a gulmohar flower. Here, the stalk of the flower is called the pedicel. Okay, the stalk of the flower is called the pedicel. The uppermost swollen part of the pedicel is called the thalamus. The green petal-like growths coming out of the thalamus are known as the sepals. Okay, that is the colorful part of the flower, and the sepals are again enclosed and protected by the flower when it is a bud. Okay, the sepals are found inside the bud, and this bud, it protects the sepals. Colored or white petals grow inside the sepals in a circle, and the stalk-like growths with swollen powdery heads are known as the stamens, which are called as the male part of the flower. These male parts of the flower are known as stamens, and this stalk-like portion is called the filament, while the swollen tip is called the anther, and the powdery substance which gets rubbed off on our fingers sometimes is called the pollen. Okay, this pollen is carried by the insects from one flower to other flower and undergoes a process known as pollination. Okay, we shall learn regarding this when you will go to your next class. The flesh-like structure at the center of the flower attached to the stalk with a swollen tip is called the carpel. Okay, and this carpel, or we can also call the pistil, as the female part of the flower. And at last we can see the ovary. Okay, this ovary is found at the base, which is inside the thalamus. When you cut open the ovary, you will notice many tiny egg-like structures. These egg-like structures are called the ovules. So these are the things that we find in the parts of a flower. If you examine the flower carefully, you would have noticed that the sepals, petals and stamens grow out of the thalamus in same circle. These sepals, petals and thalamus, they grow out in the same circle, and the outermost circle formed by the sepals that come, then comes the petals, then comes the stamens, and right at the center is the pistil. So we get 4 whorls in a flower. All the flowers have got the same feature, that we have got 4 whorls. Any circular arrangement of leaves, sepals, petals and pistils around a flower is called a whorl, or we can say around a common axis is called a whorl. All the flowers do not have the 4 whorls. Some flowers have got 3 whorls, some flowers have got 4 whorls. So the flower which will have all the 4 whorls will be considered as a bisexual flower, which you will learn in your next class. Okay, however, all flowers do not have all the 4 whorls. So the flower which has got only 3 whorls can be considered as unisexual flowers. Sometimes the sepals and the petals togetherly form tepals, as in the tuberose plant. This tuberose plant is known as Rajnigandha in Hindi. Okay, sometimes the sepals and the petals togetherly they form the tepals, and some flowers have only stamens, while others have only carpels, which is the female part of the flower. For example, the sepals may be free or joint. Similarly, the petals may be free or joint, and the petals may also be of different sizes, as in pea. As in pea, we find the petals of different sizes. The stamens and carpels may also be free or joint. So the different whorls that we find in different flowers, okay, sometimes it may be found joint, sometimes it may be found free. So at times when they are found joint, they form tepals, and at times when they are found free, they have got different parts as sepals and petals only. Okay, so my dear students, hope you all have got the points that I have discussed today. If you have any queries or doubts, please contact me every night between 8 to 10. I shall try my best to help you to clarify your doubts. So with this, I end up my class. Thank you. Have a nice day.